Hey Raiders, Jacko here, and today we're going to have a little bit different video. So as you can see, I am in the game Conan Exiles, specifically on the Isle of Sipta DLC. Now what I'm going to be doing today is a build tour of my contest entry for the Conan Exiles temple build contest. Now this is on PC, it does have mods. The mod community for this game is absolutely incredible. They turned this amazing game into something that is truly unique. So, the contest is about building a temple to one of the deities within this mythos. And I have chosen Crom. Oh, the irony. See, Crom doesn't give powers, doesn't answer prayers or anything like that. In fact, Crom pretty much just ignores his followers. So having a temple to Crom is a little bit strange. So instead of doing a traditional temple, I have built on the mythos of Crom and created the champion pits of Crom. Here we can see the great front gate of this Colosseum type build. And as we go in, you can see some fancy decorations, some great banners here, and we come through the great first gateway into the Causeway of Heroes. Now this bridge is littered with the statues of some of the greatest heroes of the Hyborian Age. As we can see here, we've got an archer, we've got what looks like Red Sonja, though I'm pretty sure her name is different in the actual Hyborian lore, not to be confused with the movie from back in the 80s. And we finish off with the man himself, Conan. We also have some dragon trophies here, as well as what looks like some war horns to announce a combat is about to begin, to draw in the spectators for the Grand Pit. We go through another gateway with some more trophies and some beautiful decoration building pieces. Those come from the Turanian DLC build pack. The rest of it is built with pretty much the Black Ice build set, which is a normal build set, not a DLC. But as we come through those grand gateways, we find ourselves in the pit itself, where we can see a couple fighters here preparing for a bout. Perhaps it's a practice bout, perhaps it is just a low-level combat. They are not very well-known combatants, and we know this because there is no audience. Now, had there been an audience, they would be able to satiate their desires for wine and drink and everything by coming into the bar here. We have trophies from previous combatants fighting whatever they wanted to fight, as well as a very bored-looking bartender here. We have a mixologist tinkering with all kinds of strange concoctions to feed to the, well, empty bar, sadly. And we have a few dancers to entertain the patrons, practicing their moves. Now, no Temple of Crom would be complete without the tools and abilities to create weapons of war. And here we have the armory. We have smelters, we have blacksmiths, tanneries, carpenters for those few Crom devotees that use bows instead of steel. Given it's the riddle of steel, well, we'll let it pass this time. We've got armoring benches and everything. So this is where the weapons of war that our combatants are going to use comes from. And talking about those weapons of war, we have a nice display of some armor and weapons on the lowest tier here to entertain the masses, to be thrown into the pit if someone loses a weapon. And we also have the initial gong. This initiates the bouts here. More armor and weapons around the other side as well. And we come to the Room of Tribute, where the combatants come to pay tribute, to pay honor to the closest thing to an avatar on this plane of existence that Crom has. Yes, the one, the only, Conan. We have boxes of tributes and the banners of the current High Champion of the Pits. Now, after one pays homage to the great Conan, it is imperative to relax, center, and gear up for a combat. And this is where our combatants can go to be alone, to choose their armor and weapons from the myriad choices that have been placed here, as well as view the trophies of previous combatants and the spoils of war. Now, each side has a champion's respite area. They have slightly different armor, slightly different weapons, slightly different trophies. But when it comes down to it, this is where the combatants can make peace with their deity and prepare for the fight at hand. Now, as we go up into the viewing stadium, you can see that we have nice views of what's going on. We have some benches so that people can relax during the non-exciting times. And as we go all the way up, we can find the Champions Ring. Ooh, that's the down. That will come to later. We can find the Champions Ring, where the 5 great champions of Crom can sit in their thrones and watch the combat, or wander around and talk to people lower than themselves. Here we have each of the 5 champions' banners: green, tan, purple, blue, and red, each representing their own society, their own persona. Behind the champions' thrones, we have their refreshments. Nothing on them currently because, well, nothing important for the champions to go and see. And speaking of the champions, each of the champions makes this fighting pit their home. And as such, they have their own houses, their own places to be. Here, at the green banners, we have the first of the champions. They're guards in what looks like interesting assassins. Each champion has the outfit they wear, their preferred armor for combat, and their preferred weapons for combat. This one uses a bow, maybe not the most traditional, for Crom. They also have trophies and places for the masses to come pay them homage. They also have their own rooms, their own places to relax and get away from everything. And this champion seems to be one who enjoys horticulture and random trinkets of Arcania. We have potions, we have what looks like petrified dragon eggs, and all kinds of plants, as well as some stuffed, taxidermied conquests about their adventures. And because I am Jacko, we do have a jack-o'-lantern. And another little Easter egg here, a possibly live unicorn trapped behind some brambles. As we continue around, we move from vaguely elegant and nature-loving to utterly barbaric and a connoisseur of the macabre. Here we have our next champion, the champion of Brown, who prefers a leg as their weapon of choice, or maybe a bone mace. We have some bone-infused armor here, and each of the champions has this monument to their greatest trophies, essentially. A place for all the tithing that would come from their followers, their fans, however that may be. And we come in here, and the motif continues. We have bone furniture, piles of skulls, skulls on pikes, giant skulls, trophies, all kinds of things, as well as meat. You gotta have your meat when you're preparing for a combat. He also seems to have a little rhino pet. How nice of him. He's got a boar on his banner, but a rhino pet. Everyone's got their thing. We're going to go ahead and skip over the Grand Champion and do him last. Or do them last, excuse me. And come to our Blue Champion. Our Blue Champion is decking his guards out in Aquilonian gear. He has what appears to be a spear or a trident and a greatsword as her preferred weapons, and a mammoth for a trophy. Inside their room, we have a bibliophile, a lover of knowledge, and maps and all sorts of things. They have a few trophies in here, but mostly it's all about the accumulated mental wealth of scrolls and information. A few snacks here and there to keep them going, to keep her going, but otherwise a true bibliophile. As we progress around, we come to the fourth and final of the lower champions, the red champion, with the cat head as their triumph. They are in Catan armor for their guards, who seem to be wandering and not paying a whole lot of attention to their duties. We have cat trophies, each of the cats in the world. They are in lovely Lemurian royalty garb here, and their armor and weapons of choice can be seen. Another trident. Inside, we have a true connoisseur of the breaking of people. We have chains, we have St. Andrew's crosses, we have Iron Maidens, a torturer's rack, and as many felines as they could fit in their room. This champion has a absolute adoration of that mix of pain and pleasure one can find in the Hyborian Age. Coming to our final champion, the Grand Champion, the closest thing to Conan, the closest thing to an avatar of Crom that can be found in this world, we come upon the Purple Champion. The Purple Champion has somewhat barbaric armor for their guards, and seems to want to be understated in their own attire. However, their armor is very actively Hyborian, barbarian in nature. They truly are a devotee, a disciple of Conan, with a great axe and a vicious sword. And what about their demps, their home? We find that they are truly a connoisseur of war. We have trophies of all sorts taken from fallen enemies. We have treasures stacked high about them. We have trophies from the conquests of other nations. They are 100%, 110% about the battle, which makes sense for the Grand Champion of the Pits of Crom. Now, no champion, after a hard day's fighting of watching blood and guts spilled all over the field, no home would be complete without somewhere for the champions to truly relax, to wash away the blood and guts and grime of the day. And as such, we come to the basement and the champions' hot springs. Here we have more spoils of war, in this case, beautiful dancers, to entertain the grand champions as they bathe in their beautiful hot springs and pools down below the arena itself. And what way to finish that off than to be guided over by a statue of the great Conan himself. So there is the Champion Pits of Crom, my temple build entry for Funcom's Conan Exiles build contest. And to finish things out, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Champion Pits at night. We have a beautiful glow from the pits themselves, some accentuations from the champions' throne areas here, and the great causeway, the great entrance itself. And as we fade away and look at the whole structure on a whole, I want to thank all you raiders for coming and taking a look at this build, and I want to thank the members of Funcom for putting on this build contest and inspiring me to actually show off one of my builds. I absolutely adore this game. It is many, many hours of joy and headache and everything from building all kinds of different buildings. I do plan on putting more tours up, so please stay tuned to the channel for that, and if you enjoyed the content, I highly encourage you to go ahead and like, subscribe, and toll that bell so that you get notifications when I put things up. I will be doing a speed build video of this, just probably at 10 or 20 times speed, honestly. I think this took me a total of like 10 to 15 hours with all the decorations. But otherwise, there you have it. The Champion Pits of Crom. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you next time on Jacko's Raider Rants.